Bernard and Annetta Moran, welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting us. It's good to be here.
Good to be here, Anne.
Annetta, you've just come back from Wellington from the 30th anniversary celebrations. How did that go?
It was very encouraging to be there. We had a crowd of approximately 60 people, but young people, sort of young adults, and quite a few of the older people. We were there really to mark the 16th of December as the day when our government enacted the Contraception, Sterilisation and Abortion Act. And it was the 30-year anniversary. So we were really there as a voice, I suppose, on this issue, pointing out the outcomes, how that act has influenced women, children and New Zealand society.
That was back in 1977, of course.
1977.
1977, making
yes.
abortions legal and accessible.
We never use the word legal because abortion is still a crime under the Crimes Act. The legislation, actually, the intent and purpose was very good when the act was drawn together, but because of a loophole in the law, 98% of all abortions are performed on pseudo-legal grounds, and that is the grounds of mental health. If the woman continues with the pregnancy, she will have mental health, breakdown. So 98% of the abortions are done on those grounds. I think initially it was for extreme circumstances, like to protect the life of the mother. But certainly there's nothing wrong with the act. It's the way it's being applied.
Bernard, what are the statistics showing us since 1977 in terms of the numbers of abortions being performed in New Zealand?
There's, since 1977, there's been 353,000 abortions, and that's right up to December this year. So each year the Abortion Supervisory Committee, every abortion has to be recorded, so the statistics are accurate. And each year the statutory body, the Abortion Supervisory Committee, comes out with a report. Statistics New Zealand publish the figures around about June or July, and then later in the year the ASC, as we call it, puts out their report, and it's pretty detailed. They haven't done one this year, so it's coming out in February, which is a bit of a shame. But I've taken a conservative figure, usually an annual rate of abortions between 18 and 17,000. So if you take a conservative 17,000, we get that figure of 353,000.
What sort of age group are we talking about here?
It's usually 20 to 24.
Quite young?
Yeah, the majority, yeah. Yep.
And I believe the Asian statistics are quite high as well.
Asian statistics are very high, and I think that's because there are quite a lot of students studying here in New Zealand, and they come from cultures, especially in China, that have very strong sort of pro-abortion policies. So I think it's 4 out of 5 Asian women who get pregnant, especially younger women, decide to end the pregnancy with an abortion. So it's very high there.
I've discussed it with people in the Asian community who deal with this, and they say it's almost impossible for them to carry on the pregnancy. So the pressure to have an abortion is very strong.
Is that a status thing, or what is the reason for that?
Simply the support mechanisms aren't there. It's something we're very much aware the Asian churches, it's an area they could be looking into to provide support for the girls who find themselves in a situation because they're very isolated.
But abortion is now so accepted. It's really abortion on request, and the numbers are the thing that really concern us. We're also very concerned that in the small country of New Zealand we have wiped out the entire populations of towns like Timaru, Whangarei, Gisborne. How many towns altogether, Bernard?
10.
10 towns.
Yeah.
And we have 1 abortion every 30 minutes in this country. So that should be a concern. We're also very concerned about the women, because many women, as Bernard said, don't have support. Others decide for more frivolous reasons, like to finish their education or because of their careers. There's also an economic pressure on women. So we're very sympathetic to women who face difficulties in pregnancy. But our government really have done nothing to promote positive alternatives. So our organisation has a real heart for women. That's why I joined initially. And we are there to say abortion is not always the answer for you. We don't believe it's ever the answer. But women also are not being given the full facts of the health implications after an abortion. There are lots of studies showing that abortion can impact negatively on a woman's physical and mental health. But the government have done nothing at all to make sure that women get that information.
In fact, there's a link, I believe, between breast cancer and
yes,
abortion.
you might like to talk about that, Bernard.
Yeah, there's about 23, varies between 23 and 27 credible studies pointing out the link, and there's been a major study done in Britain for the insurance industry. In the Actuary magazine. Actuary is the mathematics of how long people are going to live and a whole lot of social issues. And the guy there, Patrick Carroll, found the incident of breast cancer has skyrocketed in Britain, particularly in southern England. And he said because the figures for abortions under the British medical system are so accurate, he was able to statistically link the number of abortions to the higher incidence of breast cancer.
In fact, how effective has the anti-abortion lobby been over the years, do you think?
Well, when we first joined 36 years ago, it was a big issue then, and it sort of stirred passions on both sides of the debate. So those were the days of big marches down Queen Street, life chains where we'd have thousands of people turn up. There was more involvement from the churches, but in a way it has now become the status quo, and it's considered the norm, because people, as I said earlier, do believe they have a legal right to abortion. And it's very difficult to get people to front this issue. Even in churches today, lots of churches are very sensitive about it, because when you look at the numbers, you realise that every church, every group of people you actually mix with in this country, there will be someone there in the audience who has either had an abortion or families that have been touched by a family member having an abortion. So it is actually a huge issue. Also, we do find when we go to churches and speak with people who are Christian or spiritual, a lot of women are very unhealed from the abortion. So it's not just that it can raise the risk of breast cancer, and I must stress that is only when you abort a first pregnancy, but there are lots of other side effects and certainly psychological and mental health effects.
If people want to access more information on these topics, how do they go about that?
They go to our website. And that website is pretty informative. They've got all sorts of links in it. www.voiceforlife, all one word, .org.nz. You
said that very well, Bernard.
Well, I'm sick of people rattling it off, and you think, what was that? And you can't find your pen, so I did it slowly.
Sure.
But viewers, if you go to that website, it's got all our contact details, branches in your area, and lots of information, particularly on the abortion breast cancer issue. Lots of things you can download.
Bernard, Annetta, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.